Welcome to Let's Talk Elevators. In this podcast, we'll hear from voices within the vertical transportation industry. This show is sponsored by Hyperion Solutions, whose focus is to provide tailored solutions that elevate the customer experience. I'm your host, Morgan Jones. Now let's talk elevators. I'm really excited today to be joined by a few members of Team Hyperion. So guys, why don't you just jump in with me? Tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you do within the industry.
Hi, I'm David Hewitt, the CEO of Hyperion. I've only been here 6 months, but I'm very lucky to have a great team who knows a lot about elevators, and I'm learning from them very quickly. Thanks for having me.
And I'm Carlos Escobar. I'm the Director of Business Development for Hyperion. Been in the industry my entire life, and I consider myself a bit of an elevator aficionado. I'm very happy to be a part of this podcast, and I'm looking forward to the rest of your episodes, Morgan.
I'm Nick O'Donnell. I am the Director of Engineering here at Hyperion. I've been in the industry a little over 11, about 12 years. Joined Hyperion about 4 months ago. Have enjoyed my time here. It's been a fun challenge. Excited to talk about our trip.
Yeah, so let's dig right into that. You guys just got back from a really exciting trip to China where you got to visit the TorinDrive factory. So I'd love for you guys to share insights, takeaways, things that stuck out from manufacturing to innovation. So David, let's start with you. From a leadership perspective, what were maybe some of your first impressions?
Yeah, well, I think firstly, I had a really great time with these guys. We enjoyed some good Shalom Bao together, some good Qingdao beer. So it was really fun to see Carlos and Nick in their element, but also just enjoying China. For me, aside from the fun that we had, it was just great to see our manufacturing facility and our R&D center. I was particularly impressed with their focus on quality and innovation. I mean, I'll touch on a few of my observations. These guys with their knowledge will go into more detail. Interesting fact, I think, is also I lived in China for 5 years. So,
Really?
my experience kind of viewing it now with the elevator lens is based on not only this trip, but the fact that I lived there for 5 years. I think what's really easy to appreciate now for me is that China is installing more elevators annually than the rest of the world combined, because of the population, because of the density of their cities. And that gives them such opportunity to perfect the technology and to get really, really good at it because they're doing so many of them every single day. And they also have unparalleled economies of scale in production and in sourcing, which we benefit and our customers benefit from. The other thing that was really interesting, not only in the visit to the factory, into the R&D center, but just in our time in China, was the amount of focus they have on artificial intelligence. And the Internet of Things, and the way that they're infusing that into a lot of their technologies, including elevators. And again, I think that's really going to benefit our customer base in the US because we're at the forefront of that technology innovation. And then finally, the other thing I think that was really interesting was this kind of old notion that China is not focused on health and safety or not focused on quality is just not true. It's absolutely not true. The government is extremely sensitive to their population, and their population's increasing demands. You've got 1.3 billion people there that are increasingly getting more demanding, and they're getting more affluent and richer. And so the government's taking care of them and making sure that there's no shortcuts on health and safety and quality in the elevators, that they're taking care of the aging population, that there's good accessibility needs. And I think that kind of rigorous standard that is being set by manufacturers and suppliers in China, again, is benefiting us through the supply chain to our customers, because I think we've got really top-notch technologies.
That's really insightful. I'm glad to hear that. Nick, same question for you from an engineering or a technical perspective. What caught your eye?
So it was interesting to me because for the first 11 or so years of my career in the elevator industry, I was a customer of Torin. So I kind of came into this with a little bit of a different perspective, really curiosity more so than anything. I had worked with the R&D team there over the last 4 months. I worked with the same people when I was a customer of them too. I really wanted to see the factories, see what standards they had in place. I've been to plenty of manufacturing facilities in the US and Europe, and I will say I was very happy to see that the manufacturing center in China for Torin is very good, honestly. The first thing you notice when you walk in there is just how clean and organized it is. Just perfectly painted lines on the floor, sort of your dream manufacturing facility. But what really stuck out to me the most, my initial impression, is the fact that, you walk down the assembly line, and I'm going to use the example for where they are assembling the shivs and the brakes on that line. There would be machines running down this line, one every minute and a half, going to the next station. So they're just churning these things out. They've got it down to a science. But then every quality inspection station, I felt like, took more time than the actual assembly process itself. The neatest one to me, they've got these soundproof rooms where they take the machines, they put them on a big test rig, they spin them. They've got a microphone about 3 inches away from the machine, right? And they're testing it for the sound level. They're testing it for vibration. They've got accelerometers on it too. They're testing the balance, looking for anything that might be a nuisance or a potential quality issue that might affect the end customer. So I was really impressed with the level, to reiterate David's point, the level of quality control they had on that line.
That's fascinating. It just goes to show how much is involved and to what level of detail goes into manufacturing that equipment that you just wouldn't know otherwise. So Carlos, you spent quite a bit of time on the production floor. What stood out to you about their operation?
Yeah, I think it's just like Nick mentioned. I mean, the scale was just massive. I mean, you're talking about an organization that, for perspective, right? Once upon a time, when Titan manufactured our machines, we would kind of gladly pat ourselves on the back for producing 100 or 1,000 machines annually, right? And you're talking about an organization that's putting that out on a daily basis, with all the processes, all the quality control systems, everything in place to do that at that scale. It's profound. It's a thing to stand at the end of a production line and barely be able to see the end of it. It's really remarkable. And even beyond that, yeah, I mean, I think the concept, David touched on it, you think produced in China, and somehow it conjures up these images of, factories with smokestacks and coal burning. And it's the furthest thing from the truth. I mean, I would be proud as anyone to walk down that production line. I mean, heck, you need a golf cart to get to the end of it. It's so massive. So I was just kind of awestruck by my time at Titan and the limited kind of bespoke manufacturing that we did, and just seeing how, scaled up what that process might look like. So it was really impressive.
Well, let's expand on that a little bit. So you kind of mentioned your history with Titan and how you guys manufactured machines for a number of years. So let's talk innovation. What type of manufacturing techniques or processes are they bringing to the forefront? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it might be boring to some members of the audience, but as somebody that really enjoys seeing, what kind of inserts is somebody using in their CNC equipment, or how are they programming their CNCs, or what kind of automation are they using to move from a pallet to just their process is second to none. And it was remarkable to see just what the division of labor looks like, and how, like Nick was mentioning, a machine goes from one station to the next. It's being tracked minute by minute. And in some cases, even the QC checks are, unit by unit, which is remarkable. It's everything that somebody that watches a ton of channels on the latest manufacturing processes, it's everything that you'd want to see in a facility like that. Everything from the way that they're hobbing their gears and the types of machine tools that they're using to do so. It's really fun if you want to geek out on manufacturing processes.
And Carlos, you've seen it now in North America, obviously through Titan, and in Europe, and now in China. So like you've had a global view on how these kind of machines can be made and the different standards. So I think your statement about how impressed you were with the visit means a lot because of that kind of global experience across multiple factories.
Yeah, I mean, there's a part of me that would, love to spend a week actually in operations over there, because I just find it so remarkable, their level of control at the unit level. It's incredible.
Nick, from a technical perspective, how do you think that their approach compares to what you've seen maybe in North America or any other global markets?
So first, I'll just confirm that yes, Carlos was absolutely nerding out on the shop floor.
I believe it. I believe it.
It was fun to watch, right? So while me and the engineers were talking about drawings and stuff like that, this guy is going to every single machine, and I love the fascination. From we'll say a product perspective, I'm not going to give away too much now, Morgan, but I will say there's a couple good things that they have in terms of products that we're talking now to bring to the North American market. New introductions to Torin North America that I think our customers are going to appreciate. I think everybody generally knows where the industry is going. Everything's, smaller, more efficient, faster, that sort of thing. And I think what they've already been able to develop and what we're going to continue to co-develop with each other for the North America market is going to be very impressive.
And can I just say too, while we were there, what's equally interesting is seeing what other markets globally actually, what they're buying, what they're using. Mm-hmm. And the fact that our product that we've developed is total. I don't want to say entirely unique to the North American market, but pretty close to it. We've partnered for so long, and we've been building this equipment for the U.S. for so long that it's easy to forget that other markets see the size and scope and weight of equipment entirely differently than we do. I mean, everything from shift shaft loading to, shiv sizing and rope diameters. It is fascinating to see all in one place the differences, the spectrum, the wide spectrum of products that are available around the globe. It was fun to be in that facility along with Nick and David, of course, but Nick and I just kind of seeing these little tiny baby machines that are just being churned out. I mean, at a scale that's just unfathomable. And that's not our market, of course, but it was really fun to see.
I bet.
But there's a lot, I think, the machines that will supply here where we can deliver on the needs of the North America market, the higher capacities, the higher shift shaft loads, that sort of thing, but also really utilize a lot of, as David said earlier, the economies of scale of having thousands and thousands of these machines being produced.
I think it's really important, Nick, to your point that you guys are using that experience of your visit to learn from it and to come back and apply that. So on that note, what are some best practices, techniques that you think you can take back to your team?
So I think, in all honesty, I plan on being in China a lot more frequently. I've already got an engineer there right now as we speak, and they're going to be coming to the US as well. And I think that's just going to accelerate the collaboration we have moving forward. It's going to allow us to react to code changes, to quality issues, whatever comes up. Personal relationship just makes it so much easier to work. I think it's probably one of, if not the most important factor from that trip. Technically speaking, though, I was reinforced with how good of engineers those guys are. There were a couple things that I brought up to them, weighing options. What can we do? Some design changes that were being proposed just to serve the customer in a different way or better, or for one of these new products I alluded to earlier. And within 30 minutes, we had a plan, a test procedure, what the design was going to look like, about how long we expected it to take. So they just have that level. I mean, they've been doing machines for decades, right? Torin has, and they're just so good at it. They're subject matter experts that if we can truly be their partner on the North America side and say, hey, I think we should do this. How can we achieve this? They've got that technical ability to deliver something fairly quickly too. So that was the second thing that I learned, is just the fact that they're such a good technical partner for me. They know what they're talking about, and we've got the ability to work together on future products and improvements and things just so much better now with that personal relationship established as well.
Love that.
Nick, I think one of the things where, just to kind of reemphasize what you say, like acting as the voice of the customer, right? Providing that North American feedback to our manufacturing facility and R&D center is obviously so important. And it's much easier to kind of pass on feedback when you're in person, as we all know. But you've also been a customer, an actual end customer, right? So you've experienced it as an end customer, and now obviously on the Torin side. And I think that was hugely beneficial.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think one of the things that we went there for, just because I joined Hyperion, fairly recently, was just establishing some sort of a baseline of trust that we were there in their interest because we're the same company, right? We're Torin. And I think having that as a win, as an outcome of this trip, went a very long way. And it certainly is going to make the remote type work, the emails, the late night phone calls, it's going to make it a lot easier because we like each other. We trust each other. They know I've got that voice of the customer, and I know they've got the technical, expertise to deliver on it.
I know one of the things I think that was so relatable, right, was that the people running our manufacturing facility and R&D center is a family who've gone through the generations running that business. And then you've got someone like Carlos who's had a similar story with Titan, which is part of Hyperion. It's really enjoyable to see these people whose parents have been in the business, now they're in the business, and they're so passionate about it. It's not just an opportunity to make a profit. they really care about it. And I think that was so true of the people we met when we were out in China. And I think that's partly why Nick and Carlos got on so well with them. And I think because it speaks to people like Carlos's personal story too. I'm not sure if Carlos, if you're going to say something similar, but
I came back feeling like, and I think that folks in this industry in particular might resonate with them. Having been a family business owner and knowing that, really Hyperion is made up of generally a group of companies that are all family businesses, going there and meeting the family and being toured around the facility, learning that you're being toured around the manufacturing facility by somebody in accounting or sales whose cousin or nephew or somebody is in the CNC department. And I feel at home. It feels like I'm at Titan where, there's a father and son that are on our production line. And there have been, so many instances of, whether it's father and son or even, in my case, sisters involved in the business. So there was a familiarity there that I think, in our industry, and having only ever been in this one industry, I don't know if this is accurate to say, but it feels like we're surrounded by so many generational businesses. So, yeah.
I think it's also important to point out too, Carlos, that if you remember what our colleagues from China said to us, they said, you guys aren't partners, you're not customers, you're not this, you're cousins, you're brothers, right?
Yeah,
and
sure.
At least just from a personal experience, it definitely did feel like they treated us like family when we were there. I think I ate so many noodles in those few days. I didn't want to look at spaghetti when I got home, but it was, just excellent, an excellent trip.
Yeah, we ate a lot. That is true.
David, tell us how you feel like this collaboration with Torin benefits customers across the North American market.
We are Torin North America. Nobody else offers this product in North America. We've got 15 years experience selling this product and supporting traction machines in North America. We have a huge team of US engineers, field techs, customer care specialists. So we're doing such a lot of value add in the US on this product. We also have, as Carlos touched upon, we have a US manufacturing facility that makes custom components to support our machines, our traction machines in the field. We're able to support the product through the entire life cycle. And I'm just super excited having come back from this trip for all the reasons that Nick and Carlos kind of elaborated on, that we have an R&D center that is on the cutting edge, the forefront of technology. And we're going to be able to provide them customer feedback from North America. We're going to be able to bring this technology to our customers in North America as the only provider of Torin machines and with very rare set of skills and of engineering capabilities.
I love that. I think all of that says that innovation doesn't stop with geographical borders. The elevator world is a big one, and I love all the takeaways that you are bringing back to us and sharing with our listeners. So I really appreciate you being here with me today and helping to educate. I think your trip shows what's possible when engineering and operations and leadership come together, really just to drive the elevator industry forward. I want to give all of you guys, Nick, David, Carlos, a huge thank you for being on the show today and for being our very first episode of Let's Talk Elevators. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening in to this episode of Let's Talk Elevators. If you enjoyed the conversation, subscribe and leave us a review. If you have questions or ideas for a future episode, connect with us on letstalkelevators.com. Until next time, stay safe and keep moving up.